Good evening, black man and black woman. Peace and love to you on this Friday evening, going on Saturday morning. Got another video for you. This video is the 80s and the 90s babies. You want to know why the way they is? You want to know why the way they are? The crack cocaine epidemic of the 80s and the 90s. Black folks, they don't even get married no more. The crack cocaine made sure that they eliminated that institution with black people. If you was around back in those 80s and the 90s, there was a lot of crack babies that was being born on crack cocaine. And before those babies would be able to go home to their mother, they had to withdraw from that cocaine, that crack, just like back in the 70s. It's a whole lot of women that was giving birth to babies that was heroin addicts. The same thing. But you know, those 80s and 90s babies, you know, and let's just keep it real, they crack babies. You know, the children or the young people, I always, you know, being my age, you know, I always consider them children. But check it. That 20-something and early 30, them is crack babies. Ain't no ifs, ands, and buts about it. They've got anger issues, emotional issues. Then on top of that, you got that attention deficit disorder. And the school psychologists prescribe that lithium and that Ritalin for them children. Where do you think the fucking autism come from? That shit wasn't around when I was in school. Real talk. The 90s, the 80s and the 90s babies. You know, and you're wondering why, you know, you have all this, as they quote unquote say, black on black, but all that shit was premeditated by white supremacy. Then, when that crack cocaine hit, that was the destruction of the black family. The few families that was together, one or the other ended up on drugs. Then those 80s babies started selling the dope in the 90s. You know, if you're in your child was late 70s, early 80s, by the time 94, early 90s, whatnot, you know, there was a teenager, you know, out there on the corner slanging dope. Then that's when the rap music took a dramatic turn. So you wonder why the 80s and the 90s babies are the way they are? Because of the destruction of the black family. Then that's when, instead of, you know, when you choose your mate, instead of somebody that's treating you right, it was that motherfucker that had all the dope. He had the car. He had the ends. Now, when you look at when people choose, you know, on relationships, it's about what he got. It's not about the smart brother no more. It's not about the humble brother no more. It's about that thug. Where you think that thug life come from? Black people, black women, black man? Come on, man. You know. The 80s and the 90s, babies. 25, 31, 32, 33. When you look at the conversations, you know, with the blow up of the internet, you know, these high-powered YouTube channels, you know, the Tommy Sotomayor's and Minister Japs and all of them old fake-ass relationship experts, why you think all they talk about, you know, is pussy and the club and strip clubs? That goes back, baby. Back in the 80s when the dope game dropped. That's why them 80s and 90s babies. And now, you look at us now, you're scared, you know, of your own children. And, you know, most of us, black people, we scared of that generation. Got to get back to the basics. That dope game is over. That's why I'm so hard on those different, what I call high-powered YouTube channels, you know, with them niggas like Sotomayor or whatnot. You know, them is crack babies. That crack baby generation. Then us, look at us, the young seniors. It's hard to even get a woman now. It's hard for a woman to even get a man now. You know, because a lot of women our age, you know, we was in our 20s back in the 80s. You started having these babies with these dope dealers and nigga got you strung out on that goddamn crack. Put 2 babies in you, 3 babies in you. The thug life. But then we wonder what's wrong with them 80s and 90s babies. I could go hard on them. For what? We already know. If you my age, you already know what that generation is. Most of them is crack babies. We just let the white man just infiltrate our community to the point where it just dropped us down to our knees. But we rising up. Black awareness. I like saying that. But you know what? Sitting up here dropping a video late night. I'll probably be up all night with them 80s and 90s babies. If you don't understand why the way they are, just go back 20 years, 25 years. 26 years is 1990. 36 is 1980, okay? So the average child is like 36. They might can get a pass, but anything after 85 on up, a good majority of them is crack babies. No regard for life, no respect, no sense of self. And then the white man, he sees an opportunity when it comes to the African American. He lock them motherfuckers up. Do you think Hillary Clinton get that predator? Man, it's deep. Like I say, we don't get married no more. We don't even love each other no more. it's hard for you to even, you know, speak to a sister. It's about how you look, what you got on, what you driving. And I was coming up, it wasn't about that. You know, if you treat me right, most women back in the day, they wanted a righteous man, as long as he worked hard. You know, she was willing to have his babies. Not no more. The 80s and the 90s babies. Look here though. Look here. If you like this video, subscribe. Hit the red button. Whatever. Share, as they say. You know, all this YouTube, internet lingo, language or whatnot. Hey, look. I'm the real deal out of Gary, Indiana. And you know what I'm about to say. GI, baby. In the 80s and 90s, babies. Hell, we already know. The education. The immunization. Prison industrial complex. All of that plays a part into what we call the United States of America. And we supposed to stand up and say, I pledge allegiance to the flag. Fuck that flag. Motherfucker, we got more problems than that. We got to deal with our own shit, America. Stay tuned for the next video. Peace.